Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining us from around the world. Welcome to Web3 Warriors, episode 83, featuring Brooke Ganster, aka SacredClowns.eth, amazing Voxels builder, Spaces host, and an AI artist, and really a strong Web3 advocate in her own right. And really excited to have you on the show, Brooke. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing today?
I am just so excited to be here because just it's like all the things. There's just so much. So instead of like stretch. By the way, did you notice something? Did the camera look different?
It's looking a little brighter.
Well, because I figured it out. 0 hour, figured out exactly what was going on,
Looking good.
and like that's how we live. We live so by the seat of our pants every day, all day long. And it's this insanely magical world that we live in.
Awesome.
And I'm so excited to be here with you.
I'm excited to have you. I also want to mention your Midday Circus New Spaces show every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern, right? On Twitter.
Yes.
Follow at Brooke Ganster. Check it out. And shout out to, we got Dr. Lemney, we got Ebro in the chat, we got Ingrid. You got all your friends out here in the chat.
I
Shout
can't
out.
even see, but I'm so excited to talk about you, like, because these are my homies. These are like my humans. First of all, I already planned on talking about them and be like, I talked about you. Listen to this. I already told you. I showed you Ebro. I showed you like the painting I'm working on. I already planned on like,
That's it.
yeah.
You got it all
Dr.
there. You got the
Lem,
art behind you and everything.
These are my humans. These are my human beings.
That's what's up.
Just like you, David. You're my human being.
That's it. We're all
Yeah.
part of the community, you know. We're out here building, growing.
This is why we're crazy about Web3, because it's like the greatest people on, or like, at least it's, have you ever just felt so disconnected to humanity? Well, there's this little pocket in the metaverse. You don't really understand it yet, but it's like this really kind of cool, weird garage band place where you hang out. There's like all these comfy couches. There's just like, you just hang out with your buddies, you talk about like stuff that lights you up, you hang out, you go and see them in real life sometimes.
You know?
It's the craziest, the most amazing life ever. I'm so grateful to be here, so grateful to have the friends that I do, the family that I've made, to be inspired by the artists that are in
This is why we need to
space.
have Brooke on the show. You know, she's just full of commitment and passion about the space, and really just continuously pushing, really helping to motivate a lot of us, including myself, to just keep focusing on the work, focusing on the technology, focusing on, you know, what we have as a collective in Web3 and in the NFT space and in the blockchain community more broadly. So again, welcome everyone to Web3 Warriors. I'm your host, David Krome, go by Krome in the Metaverse. And as Brooke talked about today, we're really going to be looking at the topic of the metaverse, kind of continuing our conversation from last week with K-Bot talking about his Halloween Metaverse Festival, which is officially live now. So everyone can go check that out at the Avatar Convention Center in the metaverse. So yeah, today for the conversation, we'll be looking at really what is the future of the metaverse? How do we kind of view community collaboration in the metaverse and all that's kind of possible? So we'll definitely be looking at the Halloween Metaverse Festival, which Brooke is also involved with and has some pretty cool, creepy creations that we'll take a look at. But we're also going to just be kind of looking at, you know, how is the Voxels metaverse specifically really making kind of creativity and also just exploring the metaverse a lot easier, you know? It's making things a lot more accessible. Some would say you can go in on your phone. You can really, I would say it's the most accessible and successful on-chain metaverse so far, and I think that a lot of people are sleeping on it because the metaverse is a bit quieter these days, but we're going to get into kind of like what we see around the corner and what could potentially come out of this space, and it's an exciting conversation. We also have a little NFT giveaway. Shout out to Brooke, she helped us make these really cool gamer shades, so we got some Voxels gamer shades that we're going to be giving away, Web3 Warriors sunglasses for the metaverse. So if anyone wants to drop in actually at our Voxels spot, you can go to krome.world, that's Krome.
You know what? I can see my computer now, so I could jump on.
Well,
I can jump into this spot.
It's for the guest, Brooke, but sure, you can jump into.
No,
sign the guest book.
No, but I want my avatar in there if anybody jumps in.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Join us in here, so you can get there. You can get there to krome.world is the URL. Krome.world.
Who's your avatar? This is a new avatar. I haven't seen this guy yet.
I know.
Hold on,
It's the whole
let
new
me
thing.
see.
So anybody who signs the guest book today will get one of these shades, okay? So Web3 Warriors
Oh, that head
sunglasses
is so
for the
nice.
metaverse.
Yeah, okay, I'm in here. Let's go.
All right,
I'm so
so
excited.
that's
This
a
is gonna
little
be so much
giveaway.
fun.
I think Brooke may also have some interesting giveaway
Oh
opportunities
my
that we're
god, I'm giving away
gonna be
everything.
talking
Like,
about
listen,
as
like,
well.
I got like 20 wearables for you. Let's go.
Yeah, Brooke is no shortage of wearables for sure. So with all that, we're also going to be talking a little bit about AI, because I know Brooke's done some really pretty cool creative things in the AI space and has a lot of really interesting works of art that integrate artificial intelligence. So we're going to be touching on that a little bit too. But yeah, just really looking forward to exploring the metaverse with you, Brooke. So maybe before we really dive into the metaverse and talk about all the cool creative things that you've built and what you're looking forward to in the future, could you give us like a little bit of background about yourself and what brought you into Web3 and, you know, why you're so passionate about the space?
Okay, so like, there's a lot there. Okay, there's a lot there. What to say, when I was a little kid, I had a lot of unique paranormal and supernatural experiences that made me kind of like go to God, right? And I always wanted to go to God in a certain way, but you can't really, you're not going to want to be a preacher. You can't be a philosopher. If to be the philosopher, you need a PhD, you know, to do all these things. But I just knew since a young age that I was like meant to do, like, just enjoy life to the fullest and really just like not say no. And I was raised from two parents that were educators, and they basically, the one thing that they instilled in me is like, anything that you believe in and you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Nice.
Okay, so this is what like my upbringing was: whatever you want to do and whatever you believe in, you can do it, right? So I learned about the world through a lot of failure, and then you have to like go through the world through a lot of failure, and then you have to say, okay, well, you just can't, because then one, there's something that gets addictive about failure, and you start getting into like that real interpersonal development. You get into that hero's journey, you get into all of that stuff, and then you're like, ooh, oh, oh, yeah,
comfortable with failure, right? No problem.
get comfortable with it, but then you get kind of too much comfortable with it, where it becomes like, okay, wait a second here. Now I'm a parent. Okay. So now what am I going, what kind of legacy? Because if you don't have children, you can do whatever you want. I don't care, like whatever you want, you can do. And not only that, here I'm going to tell you, enjoy doing it. But once you become a parent, in a sense, in which I did, and that's why I'm not saying parenthood is right or wrong, or it is for everybody. It was just right for me. And when I became a parent, that shifted. And then there was the balance of, how am I going to find what lights me up and makes me sustainable and makes me a good parent? Because up to till this point, it was a lot of experience. It was a lot of sales and marketing, because it was like a lot of like, how are you going to make money? And how are you going to make money? Sometimes like money quick, stack, you know, and I come from hustler. I mean, like, if words are weapons, words are meaning. My last name, my Christian last name is Ganster. It's gangster minus the middle G. So I was indoctrinated into.
I didn't know if that was your actual last name or it just happened to work with Gan. You know,
I was going to be like Brooke Ganster, playing basketball. I was an athlete, so it was like, you know, it was like, okay, gangster. So then you kind of had to like, you got to get in there, right? And then I was always unique with my creativity. So I learned also from a young age what humor and the power of humor and the power of bizarreness. You know, I think I learned at a young age the power of the bizarre.
That's where the clowns come in, the sacred clowns.
Okay, yeah. So fast forward now, we'll start from 2017. I think that's enough for people to get to like understand. Come 2017, I have enough confirmation at this point that purpose is about making sure people have the understanding of the tools that they need to survive. Okay. And if you aren't going to be once again, now a professor, a licensed health worker, a this or that, you are going to be locked into a bubble. But thank God for memes, meme culture.
You say that as there's a Pepe running on the screen right now, so it's good.
Right? Because it's magic. And now there's these groups on the internet, the old interweb, that kind of understand your jive, right? They understand what you're saying. They understand the language of healing, ascension, spiritual, whatever, community. This is when community really kind of was introduced to me, and the understanding of global community and the impact of global community, because I've already understood about influence. I've already been down the road of understanding influence, but I didn't really grasp the understanding of global community, because I didn't really want to ever be that kind of influencer. Like, I knew that I could have had YouTubes back in like 2004, and I could have definitely been entertaining. I'm a very entertaining.
No doubt.
Okay. But I didn't want to sell out. I wanted to do the right thing, because from the beginning of my background, what was I always about? I was always, at the end of the day, about humanity and love and God and people coming together. And found out in 2017, and I found out how sick the world is in 2017. Now we're going to get to pandemic, right? Pandemic, everybody is now forced to find community online, and we're just tiptoeing through the tulips. We've been here. We've been doing this for a long time. I mean, I've been doing AOL. I was in AOL chats, and like, I worked at AOL in 2004.
You remember ICQ? Were you ever on the ICQ wave?
No.
That was another messenger app. Yeah, that goes way back.
I mean, you just feel like I'm like tech through and through, all day long, all the time in it, like since a kid in it. But then we're gonna get like to web, like, so pandemic happens, and now I'm forced. But see, at this point, I built SacredClowns. So built SacredClowns June 7th, 2018, to basically say, hey, we have been lied to. We're not going to put them down, because everybody wants to be like, hey, polarization. So where are you going to find how are you going to grasp people's attention about things like cognitive dissonance, like critical thinking, like reasoning, like common sense? Like, where are you going to get that sweet spot to really kind of educate people without being on a pulpit, bringing religion in? We're just kind of trying to like those, like, common sense.
So you found a kind of philosophical home in the Web3 space.
Well, no, I didn't at all. I already found that in my other like groups that of people that I have on your favorite app, Facebook.
Oh.
I know.
Nice. Well, hey, whatever works for you.
I feel like I was built for
a good tribe on Facebook,
Web3 was not easy. Web3 was like, okay, 2.5 years of Web3, and I've just told you that I've had a lot of experience in my life. Just like you're going to talk about a lot of people that have a lot of experience in their life. There's nothing that has been like the Web3 journey.
Amazing.
Zero.
Amazing. So how are you kind of taking everything you've learned, I guess, from Web 1 and Web 2 and now into Web 3? I have some of your cool Sacred Clown kind of AI art up on the screen right now. So how has that whole kind of background now kind of pushed you into Web 3 and into this kind of new layer of the creator economy, as we like to frame it? And how are you seeing, your kind of thoughts around that creativity now coming to fruition kind of on the blockchain?
Well, you have to understand something. There's like a giant spiritual community out there. There's a giant spiritual community on TikTok. There's a giant spiritual community on YouTube. There's a giant spiritual community on Facebook. There's a spiritual community on Instagram. There's, it's coming, it's growing and growing and growing. And I think, but here's the really rough part, and this is like the sauce that needs to be filled, the gap, is how you get people that are like, technology is evil and it's the mark of the beast and this is the and like be lit up And once again, it's the end of the day, it's all about humor. It's all about humor, which was what it's taking the high level of philosophy, technology, and understanding, and then turning it around so that people can't have any arguments. You know, everything in life is influence. So what's the difference between, okay, you took your Canva Jesus and made a Jesus meme of Jesus, and I took a metaverse and made it into love everybody? You know, like, it's just the technology, and it pisses me off that people just want to be like, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna show you how evil. It's gonna look like a good time. It's gonna be awesome, and then you're gonna be like everybody through the ages of everything. You know, just like everybody was like, I'm not gonna go on social media, and then they're like, hi, my name is Buster, and I love Jesus and social media. Okay, people are gonna come over. It's gonna happen because it's so stupid. You know, we need to go as long as we can, so we might as well have a good time. And that's what's great about Web3, because we start having the real conversations about culture. The thing is, you're going to be, you come into Web3, all of you is going to be exposed. And can you keep in character that well, or are you that good and that awesome, and what you say has virtue to it? And that's why this place is not making it, because we like hold people to a different accountability that people aren't ready to handle.
Right. And is that a good thing though? Is that going to change, or do you think that that's...
No, we totally need to hold people to better accountability. That's the whole issue, is right. Everybody's let everybody just railroad them with some charm and some razzle dazzle, and everybody's been like bamboozled into thinking, oh, this person is amazing, man. Because they have like so many, like thousands of Instagram followers or Twitter followers and all this. You're like, ooh. And let me tell you something, okay? We met some of these people in person and they suck it. They suck. And then you sit there and you're like, God, okay, Miss Razzle Dazzle. Hey, I have 69,000 followers on Twitter, and then you're like, yeah, but you suck as a human being. This shit's got to ship. Let's go Web3.
That's profound. That's profound.
Yeah,
so looking at the Web3 ethos then, right? I often like to say it's about kind of shifting from competition to collaboration, you know, shifting from scarcity to abundance, right? And when looking at kind of the data side of Web 2, it's about shifting from kind of data vampires and really kind of abuse of our data into data sovereignty, right? And really kind of like empowering ourselves. So how do you kind of see that happening? To your point about, you know, Web 3 is shaking a lot of people. I think it's impacting different people differently, right?
We rattle some cages. Rattle some cages. But you know what we need to do is we need to take some of their narcissism, like the ones that are like out there and we're like really going, hey, shishku, Web3, because that's what we're doing. We're out there all the time. We're in it. We're on it all the time. Our families think we're absolutely crazy because our language has changed. You can't talk to me. And you know what? I love it. And I'm like, good, because guess what? I wasn't for that world, but I am for this world. So it's okay. Then you get a lot of people that appreciate it. And as we'll talk about it, the kind of people that appreciate it. And for me, the kind of people that appreciate this language and the kind of elbows that we're kind of like rubbing with right now, you get to like, instead of having like such a, yeah, screw those shallow freaking influencers and like these like well-known artists, these well-known people, these goats. Dude, I'm a goat. These goats that are out there. And you get to meet these people that have worked with these goats or who are them goats themselves. And you get to like Web3, there are goats out there. There's super goats. And like, you become a goat when you prove yourself a goat.
Show up and build community yourself, build something out of nothing kind of thing. I love it. I love the direction we're going in already here.
I think it takes time to develop things. And you know what? I think that we've always been like, You know, we shoot our shots at everything. We like just put out at the first night. We put out on the first date everywhere. We do as a humanity. We do. We have like lost our dignity collectively. We want to sell out, you know, and that's the whole thing. And then you have new technology, of new opportunity, of things that are coming in, and all these people since the dawn of the internet, and just sales and marketing yourself, snake oil salesmen, you know, that was way before the internet.
Yeah.
So but you had the internet that came around that was like massive dose of scamming.
It's a lot. And then, you know, people say the same thing about the blockchain, frankly, and we know that it does exist, right? It's out there. But to your point, you know, those of us who kind of have our head down building and just enjoying the creativity and supporting artists and creators that we, you know, enjoy or that we resonate with for whatever reason, I think that's really the more exciting side of it, and that's what we're kind of here for, right? So I want to shift. Sorry, continue.
Go ahead. 100%.
Okay, so I was thinking Voxels, right? I want to show your amazing kind of creepy spider house that you've got going on in the Voxels metaverse.
It's not done, but I don't mind. Good. I want you to see.
If anyone's scared of spiders, I apologize, because it's a little bit creepy if you have an arachnophobia. But I want to hear your thoughts on Voxels specifically. You know, like, what really attracted you to Voxels in the first place? Because you do have quite a wide range of Voxels creations at this point, and I know that you're very active in the metaverse. So what kind of attracted you to the Voxels metaverse in the first place, while we're hanging out in your creepy spider house here?
So to continue, like, being able to like kind of like feed you like understandings about who I am. Okay. Mm-hmm. Education has always been a very important part of my life. Okay. Like, always. When I came into Web3, the understanding of that education was extremely important. Okay. Like, I saw that level of, this is going to be a whole new industry. Okay. So understanding it, whether it be through, like, there wasn't just like, I'm going to teach you how to get a MetaMask wallet, I'm going to teach you all this other stuff. There was going to be a lot more. And then when I found the metaverse, actually there was like a whole bunch of really great, because we're class of 2021. And you know what? It's significant. It's not a joke. Okay. Yeah. Because it's just as significant in a sense as someone would talk about the for me, because this is a birth of a culture. People don't understand that there was just like, oh, hey, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin from when I understand, and for the little bit of I want to get into Bitcoin. That's my Ebro link. I want in there. I want up into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But I haven't, but it's not, you don't see people like on the street in a red light district going, you know, that's not Bitcoin. That's like that. For me, that seems more like, you know, my favorite chain, Polygon. But, you know, Bitcoin is more, but I think it's very significant. But anyways, metaverse, I stepped in it. Kane Mayfield bought me Sacred Clowns, the name, for the Metaverse Music Festival in 2021.
Awesome.
Okay. And my life changed. I broke my leg, and I was like, oh my God, because I was like so into NFTs at this point, like my FOMO, everything. Like, I got out of surgery talking about NFTs.
Wow.
That's how FOMO'd I was.
There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. I want to say shout out. Meta Voxels is walking around in your space with a zombie God. Captain America who's got his shield sticking out of his head. Very creepy, Jagar.
So we had Jagar. So anyways, we just had a whole bunch of mess. And like Jagar, you know, Jagar's like one of the greatest voxel creators on the planet. Like, he's just the greatest.
He's pretty awesome.
And nothing's stopping him. Jagar will be the greatest voxel creator on the planet. And it's so great that I just look at the greatest win ever having that room, because I was at a time I was part of a project. The big shout out, you know, to the project that I was there, and we were in there, and Jagar was walking around, and you'll always hear this story in the future about Jagar in this space, and this coconut fell And Jagar was like, "Oh my God, and then the coconut just fell." And he then went and he made his costume, which was well, he was black. He did the what is the one character? It's
Black
Venom.
Panther or Venom?
No,
Yeah,
Venom.
Venom. Yeah, he has a cool Venom costume for sure.
And he created Venom. Okay, and I don't know if you know who Jimmy Albert is. And you know Jimmy Albert, right?
Yeah.
He's an amazing artist. He's an amazing artist. He was in part of that room. So we go, Joe Adams, shout out. He was the one that taught me a lot of about the voxel stuff. So we go to this MBMA, and Natalie Crew puts us on. Kane's in there. So I learned about Space Painter. Do you know who Space Painter is? He's like one of my favorite NFT people ever.
Wow.
I learned about Space Painter in there. And like, I'm like, this is where I want to be for the rest. Like this okay. I go from broken leg, NFT crazy, all this insane to like this incredible. I pay this guy $100, Neo, to make me the first Sacred Clown mask.
Nice.
Like I go because I wanted to go to this so bad. Like I wanted this. I wanted this. Like I was going. Like some people like who love Drake or love Taylor Swift. Woo! Taylor Swift tickets are way more expensive. But I was like this, but this was my Taylor Swift concert. You know, this concert with the Sacred Clown mask. And my life was forever changed.
Amazing.
And then I began making voxels I mean, you know, I take spaces off because I'm in AI so heavy. But I realized this last launch of stuff that I'll never turn my back on voxels. And you know what? I'm going to be fighting it till the bitter end. So you're going to have other people that are going to fight. And all you could do is make really cool stuff and really cool games and put out the content. And it's up to me to put out this stuff, challenge people, piss people off. Come and challenge me. Come on. You think I suck? Make something better. Just do it in voxels. I'll give you all the tools of how to do it. Like, put me to shame.
Yeah,
just
and Brooke's not lying. She shares the secret sauce. She was given a pretty good tutorial earlier this week at the first days of the Halloween Metaverse Festival, or in the lead up to it. And I learned a little bit because I still have a lot to learn when it comes to building with voxels, but I feel a little bit better now thanks to your skills there, Brooke. You shared some good tips.
You're gonna keep learning, and you know what? When you get in there and you learn it, you're gonna love it. And then you're like, you know, that's cool. And then you're going to have one, and then you're going to get into spatial, and then you're going to build in there. And then you're going to go and you're going to say, oh, hey, you know what? Listen, this is what I want for all of us. I want to be like, okay, for some reason, we all have apes and we buy other side lands. And that's how I want all of us.
Yeah, no,
live.
That's the network. That's what I envision as well.
And then I want to be an OVR with Ebro doing augmented reality experiences. I want to be able to be like, hey, like I want it to be like, hey, and I go ding dong, and it's David, and I'll be like, hey, dude, what's up? And it's like full avatar. Because like, do you see like how the Meta? I know this isn't your favorite, but Meta, their headpiece. Oh my god, the dude where like he was doing that Lex Friedman podcast.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to take that immersion to the next level. I'm still not sold on Meta personally, but they're definitely leading the pack. They're leading the pack, though. No, I appreciate the tech innovation, and I won't knock it. And it was an interesting interview. I didn't watch the whole thing because I can only listen to so much of Zuck, but it was very cool that they got the host and Zuck in there just hanging out in the metaverse. But back to voxels, you know, looking at what's possible here.
We gotta create it. We gotta create it. This is where it's at. Okay, everything is not okay. Let's have a rational, critical thinking, reasoning conversation.
For sure.
Okay. Things aren't really back yet, but it's up to us to do it. So we like to party. We got to do it. We got to create it.
That's it. Make it fun, right? Make it exciting.
We got to make it exciting. We got to make it fun because it, like, what are you going to do? Like, you just can't let it like not be empty. You know, it's like going to be, you know, you have like those amusement parks all over the United States. And I'm sure you have them in Canada.
Of course.
But, you know, you have like
not as
like,
many,
really
but we got some.
But, you know, like we used to have back in the day when things were fun. it was like you had these like really fun amusement parks. And why were they fun? Because there was people there, it was alive, there was enthusiasm and all this other stuff. Now we have a whole bunch of dead amusement parks, but what's great is instead of like all the land and all the shit that's on it and people owning it, no one really owns it now, and you can just like wipe all of that stuff clear fast, and you can create some of these really kind of cool experiences that would remind you of going to these really fun carnivals. But you have to keep the people going, and you got to keep the things alive. You got to create the attractions that are fresh and fun.
And so do you think that Voxels is evolving in the right way when it comes to that? And do you look at other metaverse spaces that maybe are going to have a hard time taking it to that place because of maybe all the speculation and a lot of people feeling like they got burnt because they spent tens of thousands of dollars on something that is now worth, you know, a few hundred or maybe $1,000? How do you think that evolution is kind of taking place? And I'm pretty impressed with how Voxels is trying to handle it.
They're hanging. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a metaverse that's hanging. It's hanging, and here's where our communities need to set ourselves apart, because there's a big lane here of leading the pack. Okay, like there's a whole bunch of shit sitting on the shelf, and we all should, like, because we have such a cool community, we all need to be like, okay, let's start ripping it up in the metaverse and start doing uniquely crazy, wild, fun things and doing it. Because once again, here we go. It's going to all come back to how many bodies are where are they at? What are the numbers? How can you create things? And we live in a world in Web3 where those numbers, those metrics matter. Those metrics count. Those metrics are going to be use cases where we started this conversation.
No doubt.
Okay. These are going to be the use cases that we need to show what you and I know. I don't know if you agree to it as much as I want it. I want it. I believe in it. But these brands and these sponsorships that are coming in, and it's inevitable. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, incentivization is a reason for. There's a reason for sieges and invented it. There is complete merit to incentivization. Okay, and that is what's kind of cool about Web3. And it's marketing, and people don't understand it. That's the thing. No. The language is so, but the metaverse can make that barrier of entry easy, because now you're making it fun and weird and cool and exciting to now, because I want to go to that party, I'll get a MetaMask.
No doubt, no doubt. So it's like, it's a little bit of FOMO, but more actual experience and not as much just artificial hype, but actual hype, actual real, community hype. So I'm hanging out
you know what I like about it too? This is what I like about it too. This is what makes me different. I'm sorry I'm talking.
You're good.
But you know what? But this is the stuff that needs to be discussed, and people don't talk about it. Okay. But the metaverse is really cool too, because it gets people's temperatures, because you have like watched these people that have balls of steel that go out there and talk like they're experts of this new technology just because they have the cojones to open up these rooms in Twitter spaces and be like, hello, my name is Mark and my project is pixel dragon dinosaurs with furry tails. But you know what? I've been in NFTs for maybe, and then you sit there, whatever, and then you ask them to go into the metaverse. They don't even have a MetaMask. They don't even have these things. I mean, I'm kidding, but they don't. And you're listening, like, so you make people. For me, it's like I do temperature checks with Voxels, because it allows you. But you know what? I've also onboarded the fastest way ever because of Voxels, because you put something in there that somebody wants, and that's why I love the wearables. They'll beeline.
No doubt. Exactly. I liked what you said about the marketing side of things, right? So I'm hanging out in the Avatar Convention Center, which is where the Halloween Metaverse Festival is going down. Shout out to K-Bot. He's in here dancing. I see you. And I'm noticing, K-Bot's done this really cool thing where he's actually incorporated a lot of other creators from the space and given them a little bit of promo within the Avatar Convention Center for the festival, right? So we've got like Star and Chaz and yourself, NFTP, NFT, and he put our Web3 Warriors stuff up here as well. So it's just a really cool way to like now anybody who visits the Avatar Convention Center can just like click on one of these pieces by NFTP or by yourself or by mine, and they can just go and jump into their project and learn a little bit more about them, right? So I feel like that's the piece of the puzzle that is not really being talked about as much, is like the immersive marketing kind of side of it. Do you think that that's going to continue to kind of be as sticky as it is, and or I should say become more sticky, because right now, as you mentioned, it's pretty quiet, right? So do you think that like the idea of marketing in the metaverse is going to be a catchy thing that catches on?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I mean, like, this is like this whole, like, I'm so glad that I'm like gonna unleash the dragon right now.
That's what you're here for.
Like seriously, because it just amazes me, because as you see, everybody's into animation. Like, they're all into animation videos, they're all into animation everything, right? So they're making this shit with AI, and they're going, okay, this is blah, blah, blah. I need this video. Or there's like there's a whole bunch of things, but like literally in Voxels, you can like literally make that video super like less time, easier fun. There's so much opportunity there. And there's just people that just because they would rather go, people would just rather go the hard way. And then they would rather balk and they would rather poke holes. But you could do like so many things. And as to circumvent one of the really conversations about the influencers and what they have impact, the influencers there was people that had influencers where they were like, oh, spatial is the greatest and I can't stand this voxel. So you had those haters that were putting that down, or you had like the true, like, the metaverse is with the headset. But I disagree, because marketing is going to happen the best when you have the access. You can put all you want of your highfalutin brand all up in the internet of whatever, that your space looks so wonderful and it's so realistic. But you're only going to get 25 people that might go in on a good night, on a good day. That's a party. If you got 25 of your people up in a VR space,
that's epic. Yeah,
that's a party. Okay? Yeah. But voxels, once again, that influence being the most important word of this conversation, optics. Okay, you jump into on your phone, you're jumping into voxels. Okay, yeah. You're jumping in on your phone and you're seeing Sony, and now you're having 100 people, 150 people that are seeing Sony, or you having 25 people that are seeing Sony. And I know that the bank accounts are probably a little bit different, but not always. There's people with money that love voxels because they love, again, the barrier of entry. And people have lives. I mean, this is the stuff that like people really need to talk about. People have lives. So you're not going to be able to be tethered, right, to your computer all the time. This is why we're going to have eventually the headsets, is so we're not tethered, but can participate in voxel events, and we can participate. We're just right now at a precipice of this experience of what's going on.
I was going to say, I know like SpaceX even has a lot, and there's a lot of other kind of bigger brands that obviously have a lot of financing behind them that do have lots in voxels. And besides that, there's also kind of the OG brands like we were talking about with K-Bot last week. I think the Bored Apes, the Afro Droids, which I'm a big fan of. They've dropped wearables to their collectors, their holders, so I've got some cool droid wearables that they gave out. So there's like a lot of kind of history, a lot of blockchain NFT history in the Voxels metaverse that would just be a shame for it to ever somehow fail. And that's why I have so much faith in what's happening in Voxels.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen at all. I don't. And you know what? It's up to us. At the end of the day, ready? After you heard all of that spiel of excitement, and I'm glad I was able to like finally give my 2 cents. Okay. It's up to us. We got to do the events. We got to have these things. We got to bring in the people. And you know what? The whole thing is with us as the brand, as the Web3 brand community of who we are, with comes, hey, guess what? We landed a really great account with Crumble Cookies. That's one I want to go after because I think that they have the aesthetic that would be perfect for Voxels. Okay.
Interesting.
We landed Crumble Cookies, and we need you guys all here Thursday at 6 p.m. Here is your JSON file of your cookie outfit, and we're meeting on 3 Sundays a month before the event. Okay. And we're going to choreograph a whole dance number of 100 people. And guess what? Here is $300. And you know what I'm saying? I mean,
and you show out for the brand.
Pretty amazing. That's a pretty amazing optic.
Yeah, that would be an amazing optic for sure. And then having the ability to, make a splash in the metaverse and like you said about the JSON, it could even just be airdropping, right? To like the list of wallets that you have. You just send them the wearables and say, this is the wearable we're going to be showing up in. You all have it in your wallets already, and then kind of building out from there. But definitely I see that future for brands, and I know I've heard about it. I think Decentraland has also been doing pretty good job kind of getting a lot of big brands in there. The Coca-Colas, I think Porsche is in there. Some few high-end kind of fashion, designer fashion was in there as well.
High-end. Well, first of all, in innovation, okay, and a lot of these people that are at the top of the food chain of these brands, this isn't their first rodeo of innovation. A lot of these people that are sitting on the boards were here when the internet came out, and most of them didn't even want the internet, but they understand the innovation. They hated social media even worse. Right. Okay, the board did, but this time around, they knew, because things happen this way. Okay. So they knew that this time around with the metaverse, with AI, like most people are just blown away with AI. I think the metaverse did come to people's attention, but I think that you had precursors of movies, and you had precursors, obviously, of books. You had all these things that described the digital world where people were in this other reality. Okay. So we knew that probably kind of VR headsets aren't new, like this isn't all like, we saw gaming, gamers know, right? Gamers know what's going on. So that should not have been like but what people did know this time around was who to align with for the brand growth. Okay. So you're going to see higher end luxury brands that did their own research and wanted to come in and did the aesthetic. And at the time of stepping into the Web3 ecosystem, there was only a limited amount of choice. You had 2 different metaverses at this point. This is before this big spatial blow up. We're talking about the Decentraland, Sandbox, and Voxels have been here since 2020.
But Sandbox it's still not even like fully accessible to your other point. Yeah, it's
not, but I'm just telling you, for legit tokenized besides spatial, and and now you're going to get cyber on cyber.
Yeah, on cyber been around for a minute too. Yeah,
they've been around. Yeah. They've been around. They just actually added a different, more mechanism. They created more of a metaverse because on cyber was a gallery. Yeah. And then they ended up building out as a metaverse.
Yeah, actually, you can check out our on cyber gallery at Web3Warriors.io. It's a very cool little gamer corner of the gallery. It's a pretty cool NFT gallery, and I'm a big fan of on cyber.
To go back to the beginning of this conversation, use case. What is the use case? Are you entertaining? Are you educating? Are you enlightening? What's great about Web3 is it's all 3. Okay, it's all 3 in one big, beautiful red pill. And you're like, wait a second, what? Wait a second, who am I getting to meet? Wait a second, what am I getting to doing? What am I doing? What's going on? And now, once we move forward, wait, it takes me to this event. And what's going on with this event? Wait, this got me what? This, wait, where did that jacket come from? Oh, remember that NFT you had? And yeah, well, I turned in the NFT and because you weren't doing anything with it, and I got this that's a technology.
Yeah, and there's no one kind of defining what it's going to mean into the future. So to your other point, it's all about how we build it and how we kind of or how all creators decide to push their own kind of projects forward, right? And there's a lot of really interesting projects that are kind of dormant right now, but have a huge opportunity to kind of reawaken almost, and nobody knows where that's going to go, you know? So
That one.
yeah,
Lonely Frog Lambo Club.
no doubt.
It's the first. First of all, this is no financial advice by any means. By any means, this is no financial advice.
Right.
I'm talking about the community. It's so strong, and you have so many people. So, like, to your point, I believe in that too.
That's what's up. I feel the same way about the Crypto Rastas. Shout out to them. And as well as the Afro Droids. Oh, whoa, knows I'm a big fan of the Afro Droids. So, you know, there are communities that want to see things grow. And I think that we're going to see what happens, you know, as a lot of these projects continue to build out. Really exciting. So I do want to get your thoughts on specifically the Halloween Metaverse Festival and what you're planning to do. I know you've been talking about having a kind of scavenger hunt or some type of trivia, or you know, how are you feeling about the Halloween festival? We got people dancing in the Avatar Convention Center here. Everyone's welcome to join us.
You saw that I had that spider game. So what that game is I'm gonna get it done today. And then I'm just gonna panhandle it on Twitter or Clubhouse like I do. You've seen my moves.
Yeah.
I like pop up my like the ringleader, right?
No doubt.
I pop up my little booth, my ticket booth, and I say, "Hey, do you want to go and play a game?" And it's the spider game, and the spider game is off of K-Bots too, you know, and then it's just going to be a scavenger hunt of a word of all of like just the first floor, so it's not going to be too crazy.
And this is a really nice plot that you've got here, though. I just went up to the roof and I saw you have this really cool DJ booth. Is that one of those? Is that like one of those pre-made Voxes that you can just like import into the space, or did you build that DJ booth?
I built. Oh no, actually, the one middle piece earplug built that.
Oh wow.
And then the two other side pieces he might have found I don't know. They're mine.
Very cool. I want one for the Web3 Warriors headquarters. We need one for the roof.
I'll send it to you. Awesome. You got it.
Appreciate you. That's what's up. But yeah, it's a very, very cool space. So we got some creepy spider game that's going to be launching later this weekend, and everybody keep their eyes out for that.
Should be ready tomorrow.
That's what's
up. But I'm gonna mint like a crap load of NFTs.
Well, everybody who's hanging out in our chat here, if you're able to sign the guest book at the Krome World plot, you'll get a free Web3 Warriors shades, which I co-created with Brooke. I'm very proud of. Very cool, like Twitch shades, you know. So definitely please sign that guest book, or just share your wallet address with me if you have any issues with the guest book, and I'll airdrop it to you. I want to give a shout out to Ingrid. We got Bluebird in the chat as well. Dr. Lemney. Ingrid was saying that she loves VR, although you know, I don't think she disagrees with the accessibility issues around the headset, but she has a lot of fun in there. And then she also loves Voxels though. So, you know, has Voxels integrated the VR completely?
I'm looking at my Oculus right now.
You're on your Oculus? Yeah. You're a big fan.
Not on it. I love it. Like I'm not on the Oculus right now, but I'm on it and I love it. I love all of it. I'm just saying, like, they like to go back to what you were talking about with the brands and stuff. Okay. So they to like kind of align themselves with something that's going to go along the line with the owners that are of the perhaps our brands. Let's think about Tiffany, Coach. You know, we're talking about like luxury brands.
Right.
Okay, luxury brands have the ability for the aesthetic of the Coach purse, the Louboutins, that's, you know, like they had a better aesthetic than being able with the Voxels or Sandbox, but they knew about that level of alignment that they wanted it to be, you know, aesthetically okay. Just like Monaverse, and also they also knew that their owners, the majority of their owners, to get into even Decentraland had to have so much CPU, had to have a computer, the headset wouldn't work, you had to have a certain amount of computer that costs a lot of like more amount of money. You couldn't just have a basic laptop to go into. You can't.
Yeah, no, you can't go into Decentraland with a basic laptop. Sorry, your mic is getting a little muffled there, but I think it's okay. Yeah, I think to your point, right? It's an interesting argument because there's definitely those who want full immersion. Shout out to the Somnium Space team, which is another one that's been fully on chain since, you know, early days of Voxels and everyone else. And Somnium Space has always been very unapologetic about being a VR space. So they want people in their headsets, but it's also a very heavy, you know, very immersive. I would say they're kind of the closest to the Ready Player One kind of vision, where you know, suit up and you're jumping into the virtual world where your crypto can buy assets and everything's an NFT. So it's really cool, but the argument against it is that it's not very accessible, right? And to your point about the metrics, about actually wanting to get brands to see the value in the metaverse, you need to have it also accessible, right? So what is that balancing act to you? Do you think that it's
Voxels,
yeah,
voxels, and I think it comes down to gamification. So you bring in such an important part of voxels, which is so great, and that's nostalgia. You know, nostalgia is a seller of things, and people have that, like, still that love of 60 Mario Brothers, has that love of pixels, have that love of different things. It just comes up to like what Ben Nolan just said, and that was he wanted to build a place where he gave you the tools and it's up to you to build the vision. Okay, he gave you those raw materials. And I mean, once again, look at Lex Luthor, look at Jagar, look at all of these people that have really defied the law. Joe Adams, once again, who is my mentor in all of this, defied the laws of this pixel. I mean, this voxel, this 3D box. Okay, they defied the laws of it with creativity. And I think that in this future of the Web3 and innovation and stuff, like that level of creativity is the next art form. How much power can you pack in an immersive way on these layers? How many layers of dimensions? This multi-dimensional artists are really going to like have a lane come in here.
and there's no limits to it, right? And the sky's the limit when it comes to that. Yeah.
And we own it. And that's what's great about Voxels, is because at the end of the day, if you are not extremely offensive and you have some couth and tact, you know, if you don't want, if you want to have some couth and tact in any metaverse, because if you were doing something like that could go on in Decentraland, and you would bring in, like, say you owned a Decentraland parcel, and you just like literally put in like almost like a brothel in there with real tacky like call now numbers and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that could be problematic for sure.
They would throw you out. Mm-hmm. However, voxels would probably, if you had spaces and they were like no one could get in and they were locked, they'd be cool about it. They'd be cool about marketing because they're still at the ethos of freedom of speech, of ownership, of all of these different things. So I see voxels as because once again, spatial would definitely not allow any of the any real uniqueness as far as marketing, you know, because they're
a lot more centralized with how they approve things to get into their system.
And what's interesting now is, like, I do give, first of all, I love them all, just like you. I love them all. But what they did was that now with the gamification, it slowed everything down.
Right.
So, but I see that as a problem, because how are you going to try to get people into spatial? Which it's an easier barrier of entry, because if you do have a laptop or you do have a phone, you can get in there a lot easier. Mm-hmm. Okay, because spatial has an app, and this is important, you know, because spatial has an app, but you're still getting in with an app. You have to get an app. Right. That's what makes voxels superior, is that you could create influence with just basically a link. Everything else has a major barrier of entry.
No doubt. That's exciting. And to your point about kind of, you know, the world's your oyster in Voxel, that's what I'm really liking about it. You know, we've taken our sweet time building out this Web3 Warriors headquarters, and I would say it's only half done, but I love being able to
I'll give you so many Voxels.
showcase the art, you know.
Listen, I'm so excited to come back in. I'm so excited that people are wanting to